Welcome to my series about fats. I give it the title, Let's Talk About Fats, Baby. And the fats I'm talking about, this is O'Malley, by the way. The fats I'm talking about are the ones that we ingest, the fats in our diet, and also later on in the series, the fats and oils in particular that we use for our skincare. So the first part I'd like to tell you about is that I've had an interest in food oils and fats for a long time, for over 2 decades, when I was first introduced to hemp seed oil, which I knew nothing about. And also at that time, I didn't know anything about essential fatty acids, long chain fatty acids, polyunsaturated, monounsaturated, saturated trans fats, and so on. So by learning about the hemp plant and its nutritional values of the oil, which is pressed out of the seed, over the 2 decades that I've been owning my health store, the Aquarian here in Cahersibeen, it has always been one of my passions, I guess, to learn more about fats. Now, first of all, let's look back over history. When we look back to 80 years, the time of the Second World War, and even post-war period, and even prior to that, when people were working much more physical than we do now, the person in charge of the kitchen and of food, most likely the woman in the house, would, if the family could afford to buy meat, would always look for the fattiest piece of meat, the piece that had most fat on it. A bit like us, right? um, and Now, of course, that our physical activity has changed over the years, fat has certainly in the 70s and 80s become a bit of a no-no, a no-go. And again, 70s and 80s, we saw in particular the rise of low-fat products. It was almost a sin to take anything full fat. And I definitely will look at what happened with the food industry ever since then and where we are now. Nowadays, we hear people talk about keto diets. We certainly have heard of the omegas. What are they about? What's an omega 3? What's an omega 6, 9? What's a long chain fatty acid? What's a short chain fatty acid? What's a trans fat? And so on and so forth. So if you'd like to bear with me, I will break this series down into smaller chunks, and we can certainly look at the fascination that is fats in our body and in our diet, and why we should really consume more of the precious ones. The sources for my research I use, full disclosure, for the simple explanations of maybe how to describe these particular fats or how to describe certain processes in the body. I have asked ChatGPT, which is of course our newly available AI model, but it is simply for the narrative of how to simply explain. I'm not trying to rewrite the simple descriptions of what fats are. I could ask Wikipedia as well, of course, or read a book. And one of the books I love here is Das Ölbuch. It's a German book, and it's based on another fabulous book by Udo Erasmus. And some of you may know Udo's oil. It has been around for several decades as well. It consists of essential fatty acids, the good fats. And Udo Erasmus has written a book, and there's Klaus. There'll always be cats in my videos, probably. Udo Erasmus has written a book in the early noughties, I think, called Fats That Heal and Fats That Kill. And he was really a Canadian man, one of the first people in those last couple of decades, since the 80s, 90s, certainly, to shine a light on fats and how important they are to us because after water, we are 70% made out of water. Boys, we are 70% made out of water, our bodies are. But then the next part, hey, what's going on? Are we okay? Yeah, my two gingies, okay. The next proportionate part of our bodies is fat, and we make up about, our bodies are made up of about 15% of fats. And if you think about it, even the our heels are padded with fat so that we can have a soft landing, cushioning. Our kidneys are protected by fats and fatty layers so that they are protected from, us bumping into something. The kidney, very delicate structure, so important. Our eyes have a lot of fat, and our brains, of course, are made of a lot of fatty substance. So if you'd like to delve into the world of oils and fats and seeds and nuts and all the fabulous plants, including also, of course, not only plants, but fish and krill, all these food sources of fats, well, then join me or stay with me, check in often. And I am going to narrate this passion of mine and invite you to join me. I would really be delighted to get questions from you. And for what I do not know, I will be very transparent, very open about it, and I will do my very best to get onto experts, which I have access to through my field in the Aquarian Health Store, where I supply, of course, my customers with these products. And I have a very good relationship with our suppliers and their technical teams, who are, of course, nutritional experts. So, on that note, I'm delighted you're here. And let's go right into part number 1 of this series of Let's Talk About Fats, Baby. And please feel free to join anytime and ask questions and share it with people. Talk about it lots. It's a really interesting topic. Thanks very much for being here. And yes, there'll always be a few cats knocking about. Bye for now. Thank you.